All right, thank you very much. Good afternoon, everybody. It is Wednesday, 8 January. Did I have that right?
Mhm.
And I think this is supposed to say 2025 on the agenda.
Oh, it is. You're
Yeah.
right.
Oh, yes.
Ooh. And I am Rich Rita, the Chair of the Select Board. This is a regular meeting of the Waterville Valley Board, Select Board. Here today is Vice Chair Bob Freeze and Select Board Member Wendy Reck. So we have a quorum, privilege of the floor. I don't see anybody here with us today.
Too cold.
The smart people just stayed home. Cat hasn't gotten off his electric blanket except to eat and the poop.
Yeah.
Cats are smart, yeah. You don't have to walk them outside, that's good too.
Exactly.
So we don't have the minutes, right? So we'll get
They've
that.
been sent out now,
Okay,
so you'll have to review them and
all
do
right.
them next time.
Next meeting. So new business, transfer station hours of operation. And thank you for the compiled information, thanks. About the hours and whatnot. Traffic going through monthly, daily, weekly, whatever, hourly basis and the total numbers. I have a few thoughts, but Bob or Wendy, would you like to?
Well, I was
Anything?
wondering when it says 3 p.m., for instance,
Yeah.
does that mean 3 to 4?
So, if it's Tuesday, Sunday, it's 3 to 4. If it's Thursday, it's 3 to 3:30. Right.
Okay.
Okay, but then the hour, that's the beginning.
Beginning
hour.
of the hour.
So if we see eight, we see eight, it means 8 to 9, 9 to
Correct.
10, but on that one day, it's actually the 3:30.
Mhm.
Okay, yeah.
I wonder whether on Tuesdays at 3 p.m. whether that's the same one every week.
Yeah, I remember that too. It, based off of the license plate camera, it's the same license plate.
Same license plate?
Mhm.
Yeah. So if
So
we're gonna,
good.
if we're gonna change, we're gonna try to notify that person.
Well, except during the summer it
Yeah.
seems to be a popular time to come through. But is it like 3 o'clock? Do you see more people between 3 and 3:30? Like,
Yeah.
is it,
It starts to slow down about 3:35 to 3:38 is when it dulls down, and there's like the one straggler at like 3:50.
So I did a sort of back of the envelope first order analysis, and the 3 to 4 hour, but understand that maybe 3 to 3:30. There were 1,178 visitors, customers, and that accounted for 9% of the total. In the 4 to 5 hour, there were 338, which account for 2.5% of the total. And the 5 to 6, there were 4 total, so it didn't really even calculate. So it's clear that, you can look at it that basically from 3 on a general, as a general comment, because I think there are some months where it's different. For example, February, we're looking at 11.5% of the total traffic from 3 to 6.
Yeah, in February, the volume was pretty significant.
Right,
yeah,
Between 3 and 4.
right. That was the one that had 63, I think, on that day, where the average was like, oh no, that was 3 to 4. I was looking at 4 to 5, right? So, yeah, a couple of things come to mind. One is, first of all, you look at the Tuesday through Thursday, Sunday breakdown, and it's pretty even, 29%, 30%, 41%. So I think the days are good, right? Because we got basically 30, 30, and 40, where we figured Sunday would be the higher because of all. So I think the days are good. Seems to me that maybe with some seasonal tweaks and terms and late, changing the hours later in the day, we're in pretty good shape
Mhm.
overall. we originally had thought we wanted the later hours, like the 6, uh, on Tuesdays and Thursdays to capture those who may want to visit the transfer station after they got home from work, but it appears, yeah, in that sense, they have to go home, then they have to come back. It seems that maybe they're taking their trash out
In the morning.
in the morning.
Yeah,
So, I mean, I feel comfortable except for like a month difference or a seasonal difference to scaling back the 3 to 6.
Which
Period.
is the objective to save money, or what's the objective?
The objective is to reduce the overtime hours because every
So
one
save
of those
money.
overtime hours. It's also a staff thing. It's not.
Well, no,
just a money-
I thought it's a staff
It's-
thing,
It's
right?
a, it's a
Especially in the
staffing
winter.
issue.
Right.
Because we do have the plowing. Why build in hours of overtime that are not being utilized?
Right. But
by
we'd rather
the
have them on the
customer?
plow,
We'd rather, well, we'll do them, yeah, plowing or,
something else,
or on the truck or whatever it is.
right?
But we're committing 2 overtime hours per week guaranteed for a very small number of
Right.
uses. And that's what we were trying to
Right.
alleviate.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, certainly, between 4 and 6, the total is 342 out of 13,000.
Over the year.
Yeah, over the year, out of
Yeah.
13,148.
Yeah.
right.
I mean, if we want to, they send us the occupation report. We can look, especially for the holiday weekends, or weeks, I should say, we could do it, until 4:30. Then there's a week just to give people.
I was gonna suggest 4. I'm looking at February, and
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my thought
if we
was,
cut back from 6 to 4, that's a couple hours,
It's only a half hour.
rather than
Yeah.
3:30.
that was my thought too.
Mhm.
Because the occupancy report doesn't reflect the second homeowners who are the main ones who
Right.
are coming through here.
Right.
Yeah.
Um,
The guests, the transient guests are not part of this.
Yeah.
The July numbers were particularly interesting too. I thought for the lateness,
Yeah. It's
Well,
when it's
it's
sunny out.
lighter.
you get
yeah,
zero.
in June and July. Right,
Yeah,
Well, daylight savings apparently is gonna go away, so everybody will come an hour earlier.
okay, I can go with that.
If you're okay with regular hours being changed as we recommended, and then we'll adjust on a seasonal basis
I think
for
that
those weeks.
makes a lot of sense,
Yeah.
yeah.
So how are we gonna inform people if we're cutting from 4 to, on Tuesdays, we're cutting from 6 to 4?
We'll do a wigwag article, put it on the website. I'll do it at a
Right.
community.
I still have the thing on my refrigerator,
Yeah.
and
You're talking
We
about the,
can,
yeah,
we can
map-
redo,
the map,
we can
the,
redo the
That as well.
annual
Right.
calendar.
right.
We'll redo it.
Now, the annual calendar actually does not have hours.
Purposely.
Yes, I
because
figured,
they might change.
But,
so maybe we could do one of those and just put it in the wigwag.
Yep.
And then people can cut it out and put it in their
or
refrigerator.
they can do hot link it if they get the wigwag electronically, they can just click on the link
yeah,
Yeah,
and go right to it and print it.
well, I'm old fashioned.
And we
No,
can make
we-
sure the second quarter water bill to send out a little
Good idea.
blurb as well, because that's when we're thinking about the decals as well.
Right.
So we can do that simultaneously, send out a little.
Maybe at the same
information.
time, we can remind people that if there's a snowstorm, significant
Mhm.
snowstorm,
We can review the
Could be
procedures.
impacted,
yeah.
just to remind them.
Remind them. When's the next mass mailing from the town to property owners?
Next week. We won't.
We won't be able to, yeah, which one is that?
First quarter.
First quarter, water, sewer?
We're stuffing them tomorrow.
Okay,
So,
all right.
Tell Tony.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, and absolutely, we'll post it at the post office. We'll get the word out.
So we're gonna do 4 o'clock, is that 4 o'clock on Tuesday?
Yeah, end at 4 on Tuesdays. That's the only change from what we've been doing so far. and then look at it seasonally.
Yep. Yep.
We can probably tweak a little bit more, but that's a nice first order tweak. Will that go a long way to dealing with the overtime?
Yep.
And staffing?
So we had talked about having hang tags. Is that gonna happen
We're
sometime?
gonna do that on the second quarter water sewer bill, yeah. That's our intent.
Okay,
Jen comes out every time I drive in, so I'm
No one's ignoring you anymore.
any other comments from the board on the transfer station hour of operation? All right. Town meeting warrant article review.
Viewed those yesterday. I
Yesterday,
think
nothing
we're
we
all set.
want to
No
relook
changes.
at, unless anyone on the board had a comment they wanted to make on the warrant articles,
Mhm.
and
We'll have a revised list when we do the special meeting next week for the pond discussion. I'll do an agenda that'll include a couple of things, because you're
Mhm.
probably gonna have to sign the water sewer warrant, and there'll be some other things.
okay,
So we'll post an agenda for that meeting.
we haven't set yet?
No, we need to talk about it.
Okay, calendar review.
Calendar.
Okay. All right, if no one on the board has anything on this warrant review, we'll move on to the issue of rural postal delivery. This is more informational than anything else. I think you had an opportunity to talk to Tony about
Yep.
what's going on here.
So for our area for Campton, this change that the news article referred to with the reduction in rural
Mhm.
delivery or delivery to rural towns here in New Hampshire, means that instead of 6 trucks per day, 3 in, 3 out, there'll be 4. So it'll be 2 in and 2 out. At least initially, when the actual reduction happens, there'll be a delay, a couple of days delay for the system to catch up. But basically now,
Slow down.
or slow down. Basically now, when Tony leaves here, closes and leaves here and goes down to Campton, that mail usually gets on a truck down to Manchester. Now, because of the reduction in the number of trucks, when she gets to the post office, that second truck, which is now the last truck down to Manchester, will be gone.
Right.
So it won't go out until the morning truck on the next day. So it'll be an overnight delay for anything that's mailed here. It's from the postal service viewpoint, it's a cost saving measure, less trucks on the road, less cost. So that's why they're reducing.
But then they're ultimately looking to move Manchester to Boston too, right?
Well,
Next
that,
step.
as far as I know, that step is at least indefinitely postponed. They're
Oh,
gonna
it's
keep-
indefinite.
That's good.
I
Oh,
thought it
well,
was still, yeah.
I can check again with Tony, and she said she would talk to the postmaster in Campton and try to find out more information. But right now, I don't know about
Okay.
definitive about Manchester.
I assume that any of our efforts to get more money, we ought to just let sleeping dogs lie.
Well, right now, we're actually ahead of what the Postal Service is paying us, significantly ahead. We are collecting a lot more money than they are subsidizing us from the Postal Service.
Mhm.
So our revenues have gone up, but we want to wait at least another year or maybe 2 to see that revenue stay at the
Right.
higher level
Right.
before we ask for more
Yeah.
reimbursement for the CPU.
Hmm.
So yeah, let it just remain the same for a year or 2.
Okay. Any other comments or questions? All right. So let's talk money. End of year 2024,
Yeah, no, we need to do that at another meeting when we found a couple of things that I
Okay.
need to check on.
All right. How about abatements?
I have one set of abatements. I hope Steve is working on the abatement from last night,
Right,
that you worked on. This abatement is to clean up an account and a reimbursement that we had made prior. So it's a ratification. I had already approved
Right.
this abatement.
for the,
Um,
for the video record, it's total, there are 3 abatements totaling $191.31. I think the abatement, we discussed yesterday, that's probably something that, that Wendy and I only should.
Yeah.
Should sign,
yeah, and that's fine.
keep everything
Mhm.
as clean as
Yep.
possible in the end, hopefully. Let's see. Abatements. We did the abatements, and we'll go over the revenue expenses and the capital account balances another time. Okay. Which brings us to old business and the wastewater treatment plant.
We have a wastewater treatment, no. The.
And it works fine,
the
so why do we gotta
project-
build a new one?
No, unfortunately. So we, we actually have a call with Black and Beach. They have Dylan and I think we briefed you at the last meeting about an update that we did with Will Walkup, the assistant project manager at Black and Beach, before our last meeting. And that was to clear up the ARPA funding. We needed a billing
Right,
before
okay.
December 31st to be submitted to the state. Mario has been on vacation out of the office, so we worked with Will. We got that billing done. All of the ARPA money, which was 100% reimbursement. We utilized all of the available ARPA money by the end of 2024. So we got all of the benefit of that $800,000. As far as the project is concerned, they have been here several days over the past 2 weeks, working around the holidays to do surveying work, so that they have an existing conditions plan to continue to do their civil engineering work on the site and the location of the buildings. Mario and Dylan and I will have a teleconference on Friday morning. And during that, we'll get a project update from him and an updated timeline for the project. And I plan on bringing that into the next select board meeting. And giving you.
We had to relocate some of those 16 pits we had to dig, test pits.
Well, they're working on the survey of it right now, and that's one of the questions we have from Mario is,
Okay.
what are we gonna do with those? And what tree cutting needs to be done,
Okay.
land clearing
So that's
needs
still
to
in
be
the
done.
process of being.
That's still in the process. So we have
Being
not
determined.
finalized that
Okay.
plan. Yeah, so the one related thing that we did finish was the gate was installed on the, off of the Tecumseh entrance. So that is in place. And any issues with that, they got it in. Okay,
So
So
just the
that's done.
landscaping. when the time comes.
landscaping will be in the spring, yeah. They have mulching and seeding and landscaping to do along the whole banking that they work.
And
on.
that'll be Piper as well as part of the
That'll be Piper.
contract.
Dylan is working. We've had a heater issue at the plant. 2 of the 3 wall heaters are down. He's had a company, an HVAC company in yesterday. They said that they can get them repaired, replaced within a couple of weeks. So they're working on that now. Yeah, it's getting exciting over there.
I
They're just
guess.
wearing an extra set of gloves and their mucklucks to keep their feet from freezing. So
Any questions on
Nope.
that? Do you want to say anything about the pond dredging planning update at this point?
no, we are continuing to work for the engineer. I contacted him today and we will have the updated cost estimate by Friday.
Oh, great.
So I'll be able to email that to you. And then we'll talk about scheduling under the calendar review.
Okay. All right. Any questions from the board on that? Anything more we need to say about the written property donation? I suppose we should just,
We should say,
we
Yeah,
should make the
yes.
announcement that we signed, the select board signed 2 documents with David written yesterday. One of which was a letter in intent, which David wanted from us. In which the select board said that it was its intent to use the property for public recreation purposes, similar to the use that it has historically seen. And that the reason we could not be more specific is because we still need to wait for the state to let us know what we need to do to remediate the old town dump issue. That will drive a lot of where we go on this, the timing, the cost, and what actually we will be doing. And the second document we signed, I'm just drawing a blank for some reason right now. It's the
is the purchase and sale
That's right, the
agreement.
purchase and sale agreement, yeah.
And that, I've sent that on to town council and they are working on the deed and he said that we should get that back in a couple of weeks.
Great. So
And we'll be able to do the closing
closing
Yeah.
end of the month then, maybe? End of
before,
this month?
by the end of the
By
month.
the end of the
Yeah.
month?
Mhm.
All right. Anything further on that issue?
Not right now.
Got that moving along?
Yeah.
All right, why don't we move to department head updates? Chief Noyce,
Sure.
you must run hot.
I just ran a mile and a half 20 minutes ago, so.
Now, why would you want to do that?
Trying to get Jim into the police academy as of Saturday. So we've been doing our regular workout 3 days a week and then some on the weekends, so. Yes, I'm running hot right now, so I wasn't all the rest of the day, I was actually buckled up pretty good, but. Just some highlights from the report. Certainly, an uptick during vacation week, a few calls, took a pediatric case, orthopedic case to Concord. Just because that was the best place for this individual with the extent of injuries that they had. We have the CTs down. Next week, it was supposed to be this week, it's gonna be down for 4 days.
At Spear.
At Spear Hospital, so means any severe trauma cases, or complicated traumas, we're probably gonna be on diversion, so if we can't fly them, then we will probably be taking trips to Concord with them. That for any patient that would need a CT scanner. Hopefully, it's only a temporary thing, just for 4 days. We do have some intermittent outages that we have to deal with here and there, when they have repairs, but, nothing that's usually been 4 days, but it's a midweek, so we'll keep our fingers crossed. Read that grease trap has been installed at the conference center, that is all set. There was a mention of some good news yesterday, the Work Invest program reimbursement for EMTs wrote a letter to many people in the state and got some good responses. And I heard back from Employment Security, and I think based on the conversations, and I don't know if it was just me, but some other chiefs around the state, being upset that they suddenly cut off the funding for the program, even though we made.
With no
kept up-
notice,
We
right?
kept up, without any notice, and
Yeah.
we kept up our end of the bargain. And, they just said, yeah, we ran out of money. And I said, well, we did our part. So
Yeah,
you guys need to get back to the drawing board. So I got an email from them yesterday saying, we are gonna honor everyone who made the deadline. It's just gonna be a little bit of time. We have to go back to executive council and ask for more money to be able to cover everyone that was in there. So it's just shy of about $6,000. But it meant that, we paid for EMT training starting last January, part of their cost plus a reimbursement that was in there that's intended to go to these new EMTs that stay working for 6 months.
mhm,
And the whole program, the idea of the program is to put more EMTs on the street. And so, I was at least glad I did get a call back from Shaheen's office and the state. Asking more questions, and I think probably Shaheen's office said they were gonna give them a call, and lo and behold, yesterday, they said they were gonna honor it, so I'm pretty happy about that. Other than that, we did get our brick grant this week for updating our hazard mitigation plan. I am gonna send out a, email request for a meeting. They're asking, we should be able to meet once a month. Ooh, I forget the frequency, 3 or 4 times for a couple hours, but it's all stakeholders, so. The department heads, the resort, property managers, any of the commercial properties that. It's all encompassing, it's the hazard mitigation for the entire town.
Yeah.
Part of the grant is we have a company, MAPS, I forget what her acronym stands for, but anyway. She meets with us, she pretty much sets it up in a question and answer format. Based on our answers, she draws up the plan and does all the submittals. The only obligation on our part is the grant match is our time. So I'll make sure, I'll be the lead on making sure that, being the liaison between her and, we may have a representative of one of you to be invited or whoever. Else the department heads and, whoever else in the town will send those invites out. But that should be starting probably next month.
You expecting the same big issues to be at the top of the list?
I think so.
No, yeah.
Yeah, I think most of them, but. When we refresh it, we can certainly.
Sure.
Share it with the Forest Service will be invited. To participate.
have they participated in the past?
They have,
Okay,
in a, limited capacity.
Hmm.
Because, but a lot of their pieces is.
Impacts us.
Impacts us.
Yeah,
So,
bigly,
Yep.
I think is the
Yeah.
term of art. Yeah.
So just other than, running through inspections, we did roughs on 4 out of the 6 remaining units at the Golden Heights, the first building
Mhm.
there, so. Crews are still working there on a daily basis, the plumbers are in there finishing up the plumbing, we did, 2 plumbing inspections, 2 framing inspections. And insulation inspections for the other 2 units, they haven't gotten to the other 2. So they're about midway on the interior, through the first building. So you will still see the construction dumpsters out there. But they are actively working and, we were there, today, actually. So. They're still working over there. We had a, department, we've been doing department trainings on our department meeting days, and so we had really good with our new SCBA's, good SCBA training last Monday, and training on the new compressor. And this past week, we did, fit testing, so annually, all firefighters, it's like a liability thing that, their masks are fit to their face, and there's a fit testing machine that ensures that, based on their face size, their movements, because people's faces change, whether you gain weight, lose weight, and that their masks all fit properly. And we have Lakes Region was able to do that. They have the machine that does that at no cost to us. And while that was going on, we practiced with the new shields out in the bays. We had a nice course set up for familiarization, movement and that sort of thing. So it was good. I do have some pictures from that stuff. I just haven't had a chance to get those posted. I'll maybe post those up on Facebook so people can see. That's what we're doing.
Just out of curiosity, it looked like years ago, quite a few years ago, departments were moving from the old fashioned helmets to the ones that had the face mask that came down.
Yeah,
It looks like everybody's now back to the old.
yeah, it was, I almost want to say it was kind of like a fad. The fire service is, as you know, it's pretty traditional. And the technology, the European style, was what you're referring to.
Yeah,
There were a few departments that tried out the European style. But what they still found is when you're actually in a fire and water's flowing, it doesn't stop the water from flowing right down inside your coat. Like the traditional
Yeah.
ones do.
Yeah,
Now they've transitioned, so the old style helmets, it's still the 10-10 helmet, but it doesn't have the shield's not on the outside, they're built inside, so you can actually flip down the face shield from the inside. So with those improvements, I think they took what's best on the European style and put it into the old style helmet, so. But yeah, Hampton was running a few of those, and they're now back to the old style.
we had some too.
Yeah. We have one, Jamie Tuttle has a medic helmet, it's just like a smaller version of that, but it's not an interior firefighting. He's got a regular interior firefighting helmet, but if you're doing like a auto accident or exterior stuff, then it's a little lighter, but. Any questions?
We haven't any success in finding the owners of the material that we found.
We're getting some, what I think we're running into is a lot of people are not sure and they wanna look. But
Yeah.
we're kind of discouraging that.
Yeah.
We really want them to be like,
Describe it
tell
first.
us what you're missing and we'll tell you if we have it.
Right,
Not,
right.
well, I just wanna look, see.
Yeah.
See what's
It
missing.
looks good.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's
we're discouraging that, but there was a few, and Pat did a really nice job. With the perpetrator getting some other stuff that wasn't even related to this particular case. So there's some. It was, some good interviewing on his part, being able to kind of get some property back from some other stuff that wasn't even related to this. So.
Any other questions? I note, Chief, that you mentioned that it's a challenging period for staffing with staff leave and everything, so just wanted from the board, to say thank you for all the great stuff you guys do, and you're always here to help out, not
We
only
appreciate it, and the
the
staff
guests,
does
but those of us who live here.
yeah, the staff does a very good job making it work, filling in the gaps and covering for each other, so. We've got a-
Well, and it
we've got a
takes-
good crew.
Good management to keep it all working properly.
Yep,
So thank you
Yeah.
for that.
appreciate it.
And speaking about crazy times, thank you. Let me move on to Brooke here and Rec. Looks like everything went great, I hope,
Yeah.
over
Yeah,
the
very
over the
busy,
week, week and a half, really, right?
Yeah, it was, the way that the holiday fell, it was just kind of a interesting mix, so it was really steady leading into the holidays and just after, and then on the Monday, so the 30th of December, with, of course, the people are still in town for New Year's Eve, or new batch of people probably. And then no snow and the rain and all that, we were a complete zoo on Monday and Tuesday, which was great. I mean, I'm glad we were there to be able to offer that, but we were extremely busy, so that was good. No real big problems. We were really well staffed. We have a really nice, solid staff right now, which is super helpful for these types of situations over the holidays. In other news, our second edition guidebook came in,
Hoorah.
big pallet of 1,000 copies of that, so we're trying to get those out just as quickly as we can to the people that sell them, around town, so that's going well, and also in Lincoln. The price, just as a reminder, has increased to the retail value of $28 is the copy, which is printed on it. Our after school program is off to a great start. We have our record number of kids attending now, 18 kids. We've never, I think I reported to you last in the fall, it was 15, which was our record, and we didn't know how we could take another kid, and now we're up to 18, so it's certainly well liked, and some days are busier than others, so it's just becomes difficult to manage other programs in the gym when you have 18 kids that you need the gym
Right,
for, so.
which is what, 3 to 5 or
2:45 to 5, yeah. so it's-
2:45 to 5, right?
So it is just a
So-
little challenging to manage that because we have pickleball, and that's a very healthy program, and we like more time, so we're just, we're making it work. Of course, having the multi-purpose room back has made a tremendous difference, but you really just can't keep 18 kids in a multi-purpose room for 2 hours and 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So.
Not to retain your sanity.
No.
Yeah.
We are also, going from 2 staff to 3, and now we're considering a 4th person, on some of those days that are at 18. We have been booking a lot of facility rentals for hockey teams, at the gym and climbing wall, so, the word must have gotten around, which it happens cyclically, I think. But right now, we're just getting a call pretty much every other day for a hockey group to come in, so that's good.
It's
For
good
us.
for the merchants on Town Square, get them in.
Yes, burn some energy.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
helpful, I think, for everyone, and it really, my experience is it just takes a little bit of planning on their part and the knowledge of when their games are, so that means to me that the Hockey Academy is putting out that information to them sooner. So all things are good, that's a good sign. And then also, the last thing I'll mention is that the Travel and Tourism Seminar, which we took part in sponsoring last year, is happening again at the Common Man in Plymouth on February 6th from 8:30 to 2:30. This year, the Manchester Airport is the headline sponsor. And I'm sure to be a great event if folks are interested in going. I believe the tickets are $20 for a non-member, $10 for a member, which we are. So anyway, if you feel like attending. Any other questions you might have that I can answer over the holiday break?
Getting ready for summer camps?
Well, not quite. We have a lot to get through before we get there, but no, we.
Well, the
do-
planning,
The planning, yeah, the planning is definitely happening. But the registration does not happen until after town meeting. But yes, we do have lots of, I just received an application today for a camp counselor position. I mean, it is starting, of course, in the
Great.
background. But it is good for everyone to know that the registration does start for the town residents the week following town meeting, and then after that, it will open up to everybody else, so.
And someone asked me about National Night Out last week.
Oh, geez.
Oh.
No, not yet.
There's always something to be playing for, doesn't ever stop, to be honest. So,
Bob, do you have a question or a comment? I
No.
thought I might have unintentionally.
Nope.
All right. Good.
Mhm.
And again, kudos to the rec department for great operating and managing what is a very busy period when other people have vacations, but not the staff of the
Well,
rec
thank you.
department.
We'll pass that message on and all the staff, you know, it's actually the way that the holiday fell this year was actually it really was nice. Everyone kind of got a little break here and there, but they were happening all the time, so it was good. Thank you very much.
DPW, nothing going on, right? You guys are just kind of sitting around drinking coffee and
Coffee, food, get our winter weight on, preparing for summer.
I notice there's nice salt on the roads,
Yes.
and sand.
We have been using, a lot more sand to salt ratio. We've also been doing a few tests on the back end to see, because I know during town meeting last year, I said we were getting a different style plow / cutting edge that would help scrape roads better than they have been. So we've been doing some tests on our side, and the cutting edge does scrape. The new cutting edge that we put on the plow on the new truck does scrape better than the previous style cutting edges that we've used. So we are reducing our salt usage on the roads, at least on that route with that truck. So once the cutting edge on the older truck wears down, we're gonna switch over to that cutting edge to alleviate and reduce the salt usage throughout town. So I just wanted to put that information out there so everybody knew that. And unfortunately, we have had some equipment mishaps over the past week, 2 weeks. Skid steer was having some communication problems internally, so that was sent out to get looked at. It's still out being looked at. We do have a different machine. It's a tracked machine instead of a wheeled for the intermediate time while that is out. And as most people now know throughout town, the trash truck was not able to pick up dumpsters like it normally does. The crew was out handballing all of the dumpsters that they could over this past week. We did not get it back up and running till mid-Monday, so they were out picking up yesterday and today. They're trying to get caught up. People are more than welcome to bring their trash to the transfer station in the time being if it's not emptied currently, but they're looking to have all of the dumpsters emptied by tomorrow. So just be a little more patient with us as we try and get caught up from this holiday weekend. Not holiday weekend, holiday weeks, I should say. Other than that, that's pretty much all we have going on is winter, salt, sand. Hopefully equipment doesn't break again, but so.
That's tough work to have to empty those things by hand.
They've been quite sore these past few weeks.
How many do you think you've done? 20, 25?
Tons wise?
No, just dumpsters. How many have to get in there and,
Handballing, they did all of them throughout town.
wow,
Um,
that's
70.
70.
So, and
And that may not have been completely
No,
empty.
not
but
Just
but
enough
Just
to-
enough to give them room to,
Other people to
Continue.
come in.
but we did
We-
3 truckloads,
we did, so I
Oh,
mean,
wow.
if it's any,
It's like
so
30,
that's 24 to 30. tons.
24 to
Yep.
30.
Wow.
Is
Yeah,
Dale,
talking like this week, he said it was over 20 tons.
Yeah.
He got done by hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
is Dale back full-time or is he still part-time?
No.
he is not, he has another appointment scheduled in February, so we'll know more then.
He's doing much better, range of motion is up and.
Yeah, he
he's
showed
doing
me.
well.
Yeah.
He shows everybody. He's very
doing
proud.
weight
He's working
training.
Don't
hard.
do that though.
He's working he's working hard.
I was afraid he was doing a Hitler imitation.
Yeah, he's been doing weight training with the physical therapist, which is great news, so
Good.
hopefully he'll be back to full time in February after his appointment. But other than that, not much going on for us, so. Trying to look at schedule wise, I know people have asked about, another leaf foliage pickup. So I've been trying to figure out, look at schedule wise and figure out when we could put that in.
I mean,
later
before
in the year.
spring cleanup,
It's spring, one
As
spring
part of-
cleanup.
as part of it, oh, okay.
So.
Any questions, anything else?
Nope.
Again, kudos, for all the great work, especially with some adversity thrown in there with equipment going down. And, you guys have two major projects, not the only projects, but the transfer station and roads, snow, ice removal. And, not a big department, so well done to everybody and on the management side as well, making it happen. Okay. All right, now we have the slugs on the administrative side.
Thank you, Rich. Uh, Just a quick update on Kristen's training progress, things I think are going pretty smoothly. She's looking at a date of January 22nd to get down to Concord. Hazen Drive to get her motor vehicle certification and training through. She's already got her user credentials, so she can get onto the system and look around, but won't be able to effectively process a registration until the 23rd, when she's back with us. I wanted just to give some statistics on motor vehicle registrations, just to point out when Sharon started 12 years ago, we were doing about $100,000 in revenue with motor vehicles, and this year we're set to eclipse $220,000 in 2024, so over doubling the revenue in motor vehicle in about 12
It's
years.
$250,000.
Utility bills will be sent out in the mail by the end of the week. So that's Q4 water and sewer bills. Folks should expect to see those in their inboxes, mailboxes next week, early next week, or
So that's based on the old system?
correct. That's the last thing based on the old billing rate process configuration. Tony had some analytics for us. She wanted to share that in 2024, the post office took in 17,907 parcels. She had an outgoing amount of 1,901 parcels. With a revenue of $46,000 in that tiny little post office. In comparison, we did about $32,000 in 2023. A large driver of that was the addition of the postage machine that we took out of town hall administration and brought to the post office. So we've had a lot of businesses do mass mailings out of there, and as well as all of our water and sewer and billings are being processed at the CPU now. And just a quick update on the phones, the IP phones are progressing. We're still set to go live with our new phone system on the 24th of this month. There will be a auto attendant when folks call town hall. They'll be greeted by an automated attendant, which will ask them to dial.
Oh, not the dreaded computer voice.
Yeah.
I had
You know.
between 8 voices. I
Yeah.
hope the
One,
one picked
If
everyone.
you want
enjoyed.
this, punch 2 if you want.
Yes,
But it's my plan.
I've resisted for 24 years. I
Yeah.
finally had to acquiesce.
You're not gonna have Muzak for people
No.
on hold, I hope.
We're experiencing a high call.
Yeah, I-
We value your business.
But one thing
Please hold on.
One thing I want to get out there is a list on our website of all of the options, so you'll be able to dial 1 through 9. So I just want to publish what 1 through 9 will get you, so people don't have to get all the way through 9.
Right,
Good, yeah.
that'd be helpful.
So I'll have that out in advance of the changeover.
Man, I wish every company would do that.
Yeah,
Great.
yeah, exactly.
One thing that I'm really interested in the new phone setup that will provide the town to get some analytics off of those phones. Calls being directed to certain departments and the frequency and the quantity. Whereas I've tried with our current providers, Spectrum and Charter, to get that data, and it's like pulling teeth. I have not been successful in just trying to see you know, what our call volume has been over the past few years. They can't, they struggle providing that to me, so I'm excited that we'll be able to start tracking that.
Nice.
So do we expect to get pushback from people that they don't like the fact that it's not a human they're talking to?
Probably.
Operator, they get me right away.
True. One will, you know, I tried to prioritize it by what the frequencies of the call types that we get. Most of them are for town hall administration, so dial 1 for tax collecting,
Motor
billing
vehicle.
questions.
Motor vehicle.
motor
I think
vehicles.
it's a big improvement on the PD side because where we didn't have individual mailboxes for officers. You know, for follow-up cases and stuff, it just didn't jump. Everything didn't get dumped into a general mailbox. It's individualized now, so they can go direct to the chief, they can go direct to Colby, they can go, you know. So I think it's a little better customer service on our end. You know, they can actually reach the specific person they want to talk to.
Great. Anything else? Any other questions? No, and kudos to you guys too.
A lot of kudos around.
Yeah, well, it's that time of year. There's no money attached to it. It's just a thank you. Thank you. But no, I mean, you guys had some challenges, what with the recarpeting, the 2-day recarpeting.
Or 2 weeks.
Or 2 weeks, yeah.
Outlets.
Slimes, minor, but and getting the new pay system and all that, plus, you know, the changeover to Kristen and everything. So I'm glad it's all working out, and fingers crossed it continues to do so.
Thank you.
Okay, and that, I think, you got anything
No,
more about Dylan
Nothing else
and the
on the treatment plant.
treatment plan or
No.
water or sewer?
We did do year-end numbers for water and sewer. I will get those to you. I'd like to have Dylan here to
Okay.
answer any specific questions. We saw a significant decrease in the precipitation, which lowered our sewer numbers year over year, but water numbers were up more than 10%. So water production numbers. So he and I have not had a chance
To
to
noodle through that.
look at them
Yeah.
month by month, but it is good news that our inflow and infiltration numbers are down across the sewer system,
Right.
because that just means less stormwater that we're treating.
Right.
But we saw a big decrease in the gallons that we treated with the sewer numbers, so. And I think a lot of that also has to do with the pretreatment. We add the chemical additive that we put in. Forget what it's called, but it's allowed us to utilize the lagoons for a longer treatment period. And it's worked a lot better. If you remember, I think Dylan's mentioned a couple of times that they were able to shut the plant down over the weekend. Our chemical usage was way down
Mhm.
with ammonia and the summer treatment, because we're meeting break point a lot easier through the lagoons rather than having to treat at the plant. So overall, I think they had a pretty good year, but the precipitation numbers down and the lack of snow right now, we need to be cognizant of the potential for drought conditions going into the spring.
Yeah.
Unless we get some big precipitation numbers in February, March timeframe.
Actually, that's a good lead, and I had a question of, well, I think it was last year we had 2 major rainstorms, right? And we don't want that, we just want a nice steady flow of
Well, we'd like
rain.
snow.
For
so
snow
that
first,
the
yes.
melt in the spring can
Will-
replenish the groundwater.
Right.
That's the ideal.
the question I have rolling around in my head is, in general terms, how much do you think we spent in 2024 and we're gonna spend in 2025 for repairs to our roads, culverts, because of these rainstorms? Would it be fair to say, I think last year it's a couple $100,000? Cascade Ridge,
Well, we
Snowsbrook
have-
Road,
Brown.
culvert repairs.
We currently have FEMA claims
Right, yeah, that's what I was,
totaling $932,000,
right,
of which the
They
town
pay.
share that's gonna show up on the warrant be 230 out of that 923.
right,
So a significant amount, and this goes all the way back actually to the December 23 storm,
right,
which we did repairs on, and we've started getting reimbursements on. And then the December 22 storm.
Yeah.
And then the December 23 storm. So
Yeah.
those, we've been repaid for the majority of the 22 event, but we received very little on the 23.
17.
17,000 out of 900.
Out of the 900s remediation, right, for,
Part of it is remediation,
Big-
which the good thing
pretty good
about
part.
the
Pretty-
remediation is it's 100%
Mhm.
paid by FEMA. Whereas it's 80-20 for just the repairs.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, and if you think about it, a portion of Jennings
Mhm.
is still from the December 22 storm.
Right.
So we're still working.
We're still working.
right. So we've spent considerable amount of money just in terms of the taxpayer.
$1 million plus. Yeah.
Oh, and I'm talking in terms of having to repair for storm damage.
Yeah.
Over $1 million. Over the
Of
last
what we
couple,
have claimed.
right, over the last
Yeah.
couple years.
Yeah.
2-3 years.
Mhm.
It's interesting. And we've got more to go.
And we have some more to go.
I mean, we've got what, the culvert on Valley is gonna run us about
Well,
100 or,
Yeah, and we'll lay those out
Yeah.
in the projects within the
Mhm.
warrant articles. Yeah.
right? Just had something that came up in the
Sure.
planning board meeting. I just wanted to
Mhm.
make sure I had it straight in my head.
Yeah.
Okay, shall we move on to the financial? review?
We're gonna,
It needs a little work.
Okay,
Some
that,
journal entries I need
right,
to make,
but
just to tighten it up.
this is the 25 draft budget review?
Mhm.
Okay,
from the changes that we made yesterday.
Right.
Modifications.
All right,
to
so
the
we-
plan.
you can do that too.
Yep.
Which brings us to calendar review.
Mhm.
So our next regular meeting is
The
the
22nd.
22nd, and I believe we are still expecting it to include the Brooke from the Forest Service
Yes.
on that meeting.
Yep.
We are also meeting with the school board prior to that on the 16th.
Mhm.
And I'm just looking for the time here. There wasn't anything on the times, confirming the times. On the, does your agenda have any times in calendar
Nope.
review? Yeah,
Was it 3 o'clock for the?
I think, I
About
think,
3 to 4,
I think,
but-
yeah, I think it's 3 o'clock. I just want to make sure we've got it correct. So those, and we're looking to arrange another meeting, a special meeting about the Corcoran Pond dredging sometime next week. That,
We are looking at that at also on Thursday, the 16th.
is it
Like
a
before
specific
this
time
Yeah.
or
Right now I have it as 1 to 2.
double check that?
So who's that a
And then-
meeting with?
That's Jim and Tim, James and Tim.
All right,
So the 16th,
Well,
Between-
that, I'm verifying that you guys are available at
Right.
that time. That was the time that,
yeah, I could do 1 o'clock, 1 to 2.
is that gonna work? I know it's earlier in the afternoon than you
Yeah.
normally like to do it, but
I should be able to make it work.
that was the only day he was gonna be here next
Yeah,
week.
yeah.
So.
Okay.
That work, Bob?
Yep.
So 1 o'clock on Thursday. And
And
there,
where, here?
that'll be here.
That'll be a
And the
special
joint school board meetings over at the all-purpose room.
Multi-purpose room
at 3 PM.
Yeah.
Joint meeting, and then the following week we'll have our usual meeting at 3 PM
on the 22nd.
on the 22nd, and that'll include discussion with Forest Service rep.
Yep.
And I believe the planning board has their regular meeting tomorrow at 8 AM.
Mhm.
There was the public hearing last night to go over revised zoning amendments. And so the planning board took some comments on those, and we'll be discussing whether to bring forward, I think there are 3 left, we need to decide whether to bring forward zoning amendments for town meeting day.
Hmm.
Anything else on calendar review? Is that pretty
That's all I
much
have.
cover it? Oh, and we're gonna schedule the budget and bond
Yes,
Right.
hearings
For
for
the fifth.
Wednesday, the 5th.
Wednesday, the 5th. Let's get that on the record too.
Wednesday, February 5th at 6
At 6
PM.
PM, but we'll hold our select board meeting on that at 5.
5 would be
5.
fine.
Right, if we need, if the agenda looks like it's gonna be heavy, we could
Move it.
move it to 4:30 or something like
Yeah.
that.
They're having that here in the multipurpose room.
That's in the multipurpose room.
And our meeting beforehand will be.
We'll be in the multipurpose room.
Yeah, it's how we usually. Okay, now I think that covers us for a few weeks.
That's enough.
It is indeed. Board concerns and directives.
I had provided you with my year-end
Mm-hmm,
project
mm-hmm.
list.
Right.
So do you wanna have a time, the 22nd or another day? Next week, or how do you wanna handle that?
I think the last time, we changed our procedures a little bit, the last time that the select board and just the select board got together to discuss it, right?
Well, I just need to post something.
Right.
You can have that meeting. We
Right.
just need to have a
Right.
date and time.
Well, I'm thinking maybe on the 22nd after we're done with our regular meeting. Does that
That's
work time
That's
wise?
fine.
Okay, why don't we,
Then we'll just post one meeting. That's good.
yeah, I think that should do it. Unless you see a need for it earlier. Good with it? Okay. Add that to the count. Well, it'll be a non-public portion of the
Yeah.
meeting, right? Okay, anything else on board concerns? And I had
Do you have that abatement and the warrant for them to sign?
Tomorrow.
Okay. Do you know that number? It was 319,000, what was it?
3:30.
330. So the warrant for water, sewer and trash
right,
came out to 330,000 for all 3 combined. We had, I
mhm,
believe, 360,000 outstanding between the 3 departments. So we're pretty close. I think it was sewer that's probably under for the year. It, with the commercials being billed on actual usage, there's always
you're gonna
some.
get the variance,
You get some
variance there. Yeah.
But just, we will have the actual warrant for your signature. And I'll email you. So that you can come in. and
Just stop
sign.
by and sign it.
Because we want to get the bills out early next week.
Okay,
That's all right. But we came and it does meet revenue estimates in total. The 330 actually puts us slightly over
mhm,
collection from budget, so we did meet the revenue side of the budget.
I believe we were up about 8% year over year,
Yeah.
quarter 4/23 to quarter 24, up about 8% in both utilities.
And we are bringing new properties on.
Yeah.
So that's adding.
What are we looking at in terms of residents? We're over 700.
720.
What are we at the end of the year,
719, 720, something,
Mhm.
we,
by the end of the
yeah,
year?
and that is up over
Yeah,
the
'cause
end of year. last year.
Yeah, we were like high six,
High 690
something,
at the end of
or
last.
7
709.
so up
709
about,
last year,
so up about 15, 20.
but it is still an upward trend.
Mhm.
215 when I started.
Mhm.
It's 190.
Been here a long time, chief.
199 when I started.
I have one issue. I came across that article. I think I sent it to everyone about budget caps.
Yeah,
About what?
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't hear what you said.
Budget caps.
Oh.
Apparently a law was passed in Concord. We can talk, I just wanted to confirm it.
yeah.
It
Well,
exists.
It
Okay,
always, towns have had the opportunity to vote on whether or not to implement them.
right.
So that is available.
Okay. It
But
just-
the
it was just new to
particular
me.
article that you
Right,
had sent out was a town that decided not to do it,
right.
because
Strongly,
it,
right,
yes, very strong.
right.
And,
I just wasn't aware that a process existed for
it
that,
does.
other than just deciding a number,
Mhm.
that's not what the town.
Yeah.
What the select board put forward.
Yeah.
At town meeting. Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I assume we're gonna have the review by Laura for the Corcoran Pond. Meeting.
Yes, you are gonna have that by Friday. I will be able to email it to you.
Great.
Yeah.
All right,
And we also have the other review, the Golden Eagle.
Yeah.
Review, that's probably next week. But they are working on
on
that.
that as well.
And I also got an email back from town council that we will have the deed
Mm-hmm,
completed by next week.
mm-hmm.
So let's see, we had the pond, there was one other legal review that we were working on. Oh, no, the updated number from the engineer
Hmm.
for the pond.
For the pond,
dredging,
right, good. All
will
right,
be
so
by
we'll
the
be
end of the
well.
week. So you're gonna have all that
All the
information
info
to
to go
look
into it, right.
over the weekend, and then if we need to schedule a discussion prior to the meeting on Thursday, we can do that.
So you know, for every foot of average depth, it's 2 million gallons.
Mm.
So if it's 10 feet, it's 20 million gallons. If it's 21 feet, I mean, if it's 11
Yeah,
feet,
well, we were looking at,
22 million
I think
gallons.
his average, given the current
sloping.
sloping of
Yeah.
the pond, the current conditions. I think his calculation, if we did dredging per his plan, the increase was 18 million gallons total. Because there are some deeper and
Yeah,
some
sure.
shallower. so
Sure.
So increase, not total.
The increase
Right.
is 18.
Okay. Anything else anybody have? Any reason to go into,
Yeah, I have
Non-public?
personnel.
okay. I'll take a motion to go into non-public.
Oh, we're going
for
into
personnel-
non-public?
Yeah,
Yeah, for personnel, for
Okay.
personnel issue.
Okay.
I'll second it, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Yep. Let us know, Chris, when we're off while broadcasting. No. Probably one of our maybe our shortest meeting. It's a good omen to start the year, right? Start the year.
Maybe I'll stay.